Welcome to the Hangardeck Podcast. We bring amazing aviation talk and interviews for the aviation enthusiast. You are listening to www.thehangardeck.com with host Pitchlock Pete and the Hangardeck crew. This show is brought to you by Leading Edge Aviation Consultants. Pre-flight is complete and the crew is strapping in. Stand by for Pitchlock Pete and the Hangardeck team at the Hangardeck Podcast. Welcome to this episode of the Hangardeck Podcast.
All right, it's June 20th, 2018. Welcome back to the Hangardeck Podcast at www.thehangardeck.com. And this is episode 100. We made it. We made episode 100.
Wow. Where's the band?
Yeah, where's the cheering?
I guess we'll have to splice that in, right? The cheering.
Some sound effects, big crowd cheering.
Definitely some post-editing.
So it's June 20th. Like I said, at 8:15 at night. Some of us have real jobs, right? Because the Hangardeck really pays out a lot. As we've talked to,
that sponsorship money is rolling in.
It is rolling in at 100 episodes.
T-shirt sales through the roof.
For a website page plug, we are looking for advertisers. Go to the webpage, check out the advertisers page.
If you don't have
give us an email.
A Hangardeck.com T-shirt at this point, you need one.
You need a Hangardeck T-shirt. Of course, we don't have any in inventory anymore.
Because you give them all away when we do. Two shows, man.
So, yeah, it's been a great, it's been fun. It's been such an experience over the last, when did we start this?
I don't know. It's 2 years anyway, right?
No, it's
longer than that?
It's 4.
Yeah, because shit, we've been down to Warbirds three times.
Three times down to Warbirds over the beach.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Yeah.
Relaxed. Met cool people, good people, and saw a lot of interesting stuff.
We got a lot of great new friends. We got one dialing in tonight that will link into the show. John Mazza, he's been a big part of the show in the past. A big promotion guy for the show. He flies the Spitfire and some other airplanes down there for the Military Aviation Museum. Man, they should be paying us. I mean, those guys.
Hey, man, I'll settle for a ride and something once in a while. That'll suit me.
Yeah.
Stick me in the back of an SNJ. I'll be happy.
So let's see. Let's talk about what we've done. 100 episodes. So the little podcast that could is now on iTunes. Of course, the first year and the second year it wasn't. It was just on a website, Stitcher Radio. It's on Google Play Music. Like I said, iTunes. It is also recently pushed up onto not Instagram, but Twitter. It's on LinkedIn. It's on Spotify. And it's
Facebook.
And of course, Facebook. Can't miss Facebook, right? And since we've added producer Steve to the show, I've reduced my screw-ups on the equipment multiple times.
No comment.
No comment. Yeah, we had a segment earlier. We already lost. 4 years in, I'm still making mistakes. So, yeah, what are you going to do?
Yeah, find a system, stick with it.
Yeah. So we started the Warbird. I think the first show we took on the road was Warbirds Over the Beach.
Yeah. What was that,
16
we went. We drugged that big trailer down.
Double axle trailer.
They had us way the hell out on the lawn somewhere in the corner.
And it rained.
Poured rain. What else is new?
But Friday was great. We keep talking about that Friday. So when we first saw the ME 109 fly, and then you got to see it again last weekend, right?
Yeah, man. Those guys are always talking up the Flying Proms, and for those uninitiated, what they do is they set up a symphony out there on the lawn, play themes to movies and TV shows with a aircraft, related to something aviation, and fly the related airplanes. And it's really cool. And so those guys are always talking it up as being quite an event and everything. So I was talking to the wife about it, and I was like, you know what, let's head down there.
I'm
she's
super jealous.
She's
when you told
reluctant
me.
of air shows because, you know, whatever. She grew up with, you know, with me and going to air shows and things like that.
Right.
So I try to tell her, well, I don't think this is not, I don't know. I haven't been to this thing. It's not really an air show. It's more a musical event. And so whatever. She bought into it, and we went down and brought my in-laws along. And
the old bait and switch.
yeah. Well, but it is that, though. It is more I would say it's more a musical event than it is an air show. But the flying is fantastic because just the atmosphere of it and everything like that. It was pretty cool. And the fireworks show at the end was phenomenal.
Yeah. Did they do like a pseudo dogfight thing?
Yeah, yeah.
It was all about Dunkirk.
Johnny Mazza and Mike Spaulding flying the ME-109 did they were playing the theme from Dunkirk. The orchestra was, and up ahead you have up above you have Mazza and Mr. Spaulding going toe to toe.
Wow.
And you know, prior to I ran into Johnny down on the flight line, and you know, he was pretty jazzed up about it because they did their practice on Friday. And one thing I said to him was like, you know, how many guys in the last 75 years since the end of World War II have had that sight picture that you just experienced yesterday, you know, with the 109 in your sights?
Right.
You know, and he kind of stopped for a second. He's like, yeah, man. And,
I didn't think of it that way, right?
They went out there and did that, and it was really cool to watch. And, you know, seeing that 109 fly and hearing that thing taxi around on the ground was phenomenal. Now, so I'm there with people who, my wife and my in-laws, who are not aviation people. And the first thing, one thing my father-in-law said about the 109 taxiing by was that it sounded just evil. He's like, you know, what's with that airplane? That just sounds evil. And if you remember what
Daimler Benz,
that Rick Volker, his if you go back and listen, I don't know which number episode it was. I wish I had it on hand with
producer
me right
Steve
now.
has it. Rick Volker, probably around 36.
Yeah. Well, Rick is an awesome description of flying the 109 and its unique sounds that it has. And but that was my father-in-law's impression was, wow, that thing just sounds evil. And you know, he even asked me, you know, is there something going on with the tuning? Because he's a Porsche engine guy, and I was like, no, that's just the way it sounds. I mean, it's a
mean machine.
Daimler-Benz engine just ripping away, man.
10-cylinder or 12-cylinder?
It was 12 in that thing.
Just a 12-cylinder V12. Just a mean machine.
And with that giant supercharger on the side. There was a video out there by some guy, and again, I'm unprepared. I don't have the name. But I'm cruising through Facebook the other day after the event, and some other fellow that was down there doing some video and had some really great audio with it. And there's one part where Mike Spaulding's taxiing down, and he turns to head back because one thing about the show is when they're done playing the song, the aircraft land, and they come park right down in front of the crowd.
Right.
You know, they take off from the flight line way down the end of the field, but then they come and park right up in front. And during the intermission, everyone can go out and look at them. But so as he's making this turn, this guy's shooting video, and you can just he's powering up into the turn, of course, you know, and that supercharger sound picks up really
it's
nice,
sick.
man. It just sounds it's totally unique. It's unlike anything I've ever heard from an inline engine.
Right.
Episode 32.
32.
Listen to Rick Volker's description of flying that airplane and his own personal feelings about flying that airplane. It's really something to hear. Really unique perspective.
He describes it fabulous.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So we brought Steve with us, the Warbirds Over the Beach this year. Producer Steve takes his personal time and travels with us, and we go down. We've been building this air show up for, I don't know, 6 months, Andy.
Yeah, you know, telling everyone how cool it is and everything.
And it rains the entire weekend. No aircrafts can take off. Just engine starts. But hey, it was still a good time.
Yeah, that was unfortunate, you know, for you guys. But, you know, all I can tell you is hit it up again next time.
Yeah, but I saw some good aircrafts, and we had some great interviews down there. And
you know what? Look at their website because they have a lot of stuff going on this summer. Each weekend they fly a couple of different airplanes.
Right.
They have some program going on this summer where they are flying. It's not just a static museum.
Right. Well, 100 episodes. We've had lots of participation in the podcast. We've had co-hosts come and co-hosts go. So I think we first started with 8 or 9 guys.
Yeah, it was crowded in here.
It got really crowded, and then I think the podcast movement for these
It's like a bar room.
beers flowing,
I know.
stories are being told, laughter, and all kinds of fun. And I don't know, we took a turn and started doing some really awesome interviews and talking to some really unique people. I think, if you look back at the inventory list there, we talked to Captain Dale Dye.
Yeah.
That's crazy, I guess, in the podcast, if you're ever thinking about doing a podcast, it takes a lot of work, first of all, but it takes a lot of networking. We've been firing emails off left and right, and myself and Steve included on some of these, potential interview targets lately. Who are the big ones? I know you got a smile. He's got a smile. He loves telling this story. Go ahead.
You talking about Richard Branson?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I go all out. I wanted to get Richard Branson on the phone. I haven't given up yet on this podcast. But I sent an email to him, and I did get a response.
Yeah, it was an auto response, so.
A response is a response from his email.
His people.
But
He's got a guy or two.
Oh, he's got a server room that replies to all his emails.
But the thing is, I have his email now. So I can pester him until he comes on the show.
Oh, that's great. So, Richard Branson, when you're listening to this this podcast, right? Yeah, that's pretty cool. Who else? Who else did we talk to? Oh, my God, Andy. We talked to some dude last Wednesday night. Steve lined this guy up. I can't wait for it. It's going to be episode 101, right?
Yes, sir.
So this is 100. We have this one right behind it, 101. It's already done. And the Sikorsky test pilot.
Oh, yeah. You were telling me about that.
Yeah, that guy was a really phenomenal interview. So kudos on producer Steve. He's producing some really quality interviews.
Good job making the contacts.
Well, look, he's got a whiteboard in here now, dude.
Schedule a guest.
Yeah, we have no free Wednesdays in July.
Wednesdays in July are swamped. He scheduled the whole month of July. Yeah, my wife loves that.
There you go. Yeah.
So, yeah, we met a lot of new friends. So some co-hosts came, some co-hosts go. I still we tried calling Chopper Mike tonight. He's tied up, but kudos to Chopper Mike for that first year putting a whole podcast team up in his house. That was kind of
yeah, that was good stuff.
That was really fun stuff.
Sleeping on an air mattress for 3 nights.
Yeah. yeah, right. So
dog licking my face.
Well, what I like about this podcast is you got guests come on here, and then they go back and talk to their friends and say, hey, man, you got to be on this podcast. They're awesome guys and everything. So, hey, the word gets out, people come on, then the word gets passed on again.
all right. Well, I'm going to let you announce the numbers. What are the numbers as of today? You have our drop up, our syndication feed.
We almost surpassed 2,000 downloads for the month, and it's only the 20th of June.
June 20th, and we're at 2,000. Well, we're just shy of the 2,000.
Just shy. We're right there. We'll get there.
Right there.
But, I mean, biggest month.
In the last 4 months, it's the biggest month.
Oh,
Wow,
great. That's good.
Last month was good. This month is going up.
He's got auto release going on these episodes. He's not even releasing.
That's why I got to schedule all these people. If we're going to keep doing these auto releases, I got to be on this.
Yeah.
We're almost up to 40,000 downloads.
Wow.
That is a great achievement for you guys.
Oh, for us.
For the team.
You producer Steve, you're on the team. I keep telling him that.
Hey, I'm just along for the ride. Happy to be here. Like, hey, when I was at Warbirds, I met some great people. Got some great history on some aircrafts, and all those episodes are up on the website.
Yeah. Photos. We have so many guys that take photos for us. Andy is our head photographer there.
I can't call myself a photographer though. That's not fair to John.
Oh my God, John takes photography to the next level. It's great. Some of his shots are beautiful.
Yeah.
He's
coming up and asking me what settings and shutter speeds and f numbers, and you know what, I look at it, I go, I don't know, I have auto selected.
Better than me. I pull out this like $100 camera.
And I'm like, he's getting those nice prop spins, that I can't seem to grasp.
I can't figure that out. It's aperture, ISO, something, Nikon.
I'd have to spend a weekend
Yeah.
messing around with that.
So yeah, we've gotten the amateur photography thing down, and John takes. He's still producing the photos from Warbirds Over the Beach 2018.
How many did he say he took?
He's at 2,500 shots.
Wow.
Jeez.
Plus movies.
And we got him up on top of the hangar. You were up there too, weren't you?
Yeah, we were up on the roof there. They let us. They have pretty great access down there, don't they? That's just really cool.
It's a beautiful facility. Anyway, I
and not just them. I mean, I'm here looking at the photo feed here, and it's, we did that Atlanta event too.
I was going to bring it up right now.
That was cool. Those people were great down there, the CAF.
Yeah, the Commemorative Air Force Dixie Wing. We met 2017 at Warbirds Over the Beach, and they brought their P-63 for the first time. That was its first show in public, was Warbirds last year at 2017.
Yeah, that was fantastic. I'd never seen one of those. Many air shows I've been to.
Right. And then, of course, they had a harness burn up on it, and it didn't make a lot of air show, circuit stuff last year. But it's back.
Is it up and up?
It's up and up. It's talking with Steve Seal earlier. Monroe has this great air show, and a lot of the airplanes are going down there. They've got a nice collection too. The P-50.
Where is that? Monroe.
I think it's Virginia. Didn't he say it was Virginia? We'll take a look at that.
I'm just trying to give them a plug here.
Oh yeah. Well, they're booked. Those guys are all over the place.
Yeah.
They're going to Oshkosh this year.
Oh, man, that's one we got to go to.
Well, yeah, I talked to Mazza. Mazza's been to Oshkosh quite often, and I said, yeah, I've never been.
Do they fly up there, take the S&Js and go, or?
Yeah, they a lot of people take their own airplanes up there. It's like the Mecca.
Oh yeah.
So some people say it's like Sturgis for aviation types.
Monroe Air Show.
You found it?
In Monroe, North Carolina.
Oh, it's North Carolina, right? Okay. Yeah. So I convinced Andy to go down to the 75th anniversary of the Tuskegee Airmen. That was great.
Yeah, it was cool. Met some great folks there.
Different atmosphere, though, right?
Well, it wasn't necessarily an air show. It was EAA was there giving rides in the B-17 and a couple of other planes. The CAF had their is that P-51 owned by the CAF?
Yeah.
That Red Tail, the Red Tail squad, Red Tail P-51 was there. That thing's immaculate, looked beautiful. And they do their presentation that they have is it's great. It's a good educational event.
Yeah.
A lot of young kids were there then.
And you and I got to talk to, no joke,
Yeah.
4 of the original Tuskegee Airmen.
Yep. That was great.
What episode, Steve?
That was
78
pretty.
and 79.
78 and 79.
Look at that. Boom.
Boom.
Right on it. Jeez.
That's my job, right?
Yeah. You're fact-checking, producing guy, and, well, you're...
Yeah, as a history geek, though, man, that meeting those guys to me was, I don't know, man. I really didn't even know what to say to them, I mean, you read about them and things like that, and, and now you... I like when the one guy flipped the tables and started asking us questions.
Yeah.
Like, whoa, all right,
that's
man.
crazy. It started asking us, what do you guys do?
Doc, what? Can't remember his name offhand. I'd have to, again, I'm unprepared. I don't have my notes.
Well, see, and that's why I love doing this, is that we get to talk to people that normally, I don't know if we would ever have a conversation with, the colonel there, or even, you remember the Major General?
Yeah, he come and sat down. He was one of the Dixie Wing pilots, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then his Air Force background was pretty extensive. all the way up through Vietnam or something, wasn't it?
Yeah. I think he flew F4s, and so you got these people, and you just walk up and start a conversation, and this guy,
Yeah.
it says, "Hey, did you serve?" And he goes, "Yeah, I served." And were you a pilot? He goes, "Yep." Oh, what'd you retire as? He goes, 3-star general. Andy and I were like, you want to sit and tell us your story? He's, yeah, I'll come in and support the Dixie Wing and the CAF. So that was good. And then we met Steve Seal, of course.
Yeah, nice guy.
Great guy. He's
Flying the L5 around.
Yeah, you know what we love about him most is that he's a freaking P3 guy, man.
P3s, yeah.
That's
Little something in common there for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that was pretty funny when we met him. He was like, "What'd y'all fly on P3?" And he was just stopped him in his tracks.
Yeah, I got to do Culpeper with John Mazza and crew. If there was ever a disappointment at an air show, for me, it was that.
With the weather.
Again.
Man, the weather can kick your ass, man, can't it?
See, you got invited to fly a formation flight. I think it's a Culpeper Heritage flight over Washington, D.C., the Pentagon. It's a pretty awesome event, and it's coordinated through call sign Gintac. He does a great job at the Culpeper Airport. That episode is up there too. Go check out that one. But we did a warm-up day on Thursday, and I get to fly with him in the back seat and do the bombing run and all that kind of stuff with the flour bags. And I'm like, this is the coolest thing in the world. And I'm going to fly with like 20 of them in formation on Friday. And, dude, the sky opened up and it rained all day long.
Springtime in the Mid-Atlantic. You're going to get it.
Yeah. Well, they canceled the air show, but, yeah, there's a lot of great stories that we had. And we're going to have plenty more, right?
Absolutely.
Jeez. Yeah.
I've had a good time. Thanks for dragging me across the lawn into this thing.
Dude, I love it. I love it. What people know about Andy, listen to Andy on a podcast, is that he is like an encyclopedia of warbird and aviation knowledge. It's what we got to do again? I want to talk models next time.
Yeah, maybe we'll
get some of your model geeks down here, man, and let's just do a modeling show. You think you can get some buds down here?
Yeah, man. That or hell, you could even show up at one of our meetings or something with your mobile device there you got.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of cool. People enjoy that stuff. Absolutely.
Hey, and don't forget our other neighbor in the backyard over here, Art Knowles.
Oh yeah.
The Sea Harrier.
I mean, we're in the central of. I mean, we're pretty close on the East Coast. Well, outside of Atlanta, that was a 12-hour drive for us. But this summer I'm going up to Wildwood, New Jersey, and there's a museum up there, and they've got warbirds, and I'm just gonna drive over with that little portable thing and see if I can capture a story. I got the card to the Delaware Valley Museum outside of Willow Grove, Pennsylvania.
Cool.
They've got what's that sea dart? It's a sea dart, right? The thing with the skids.
Oh yeah.
The Navy.
They have one of those up there?
They have one of the only ones left. I think there were only 2 models or something in one.
Well, I know one crashed during testing.
Right.
And San Diego Air Museum's got one.
Well, this thing's outside. I took a picture of it 2 weeks ago. I was driving through, and I stopped off at the museum, talked to the guys. They've got, that's where NAS Willow Grove was.
Yeah.
So now that's part of the BRAC, but the...
Well, Willow Grove got a bunch of odd aircraft at the end of the... I guess the end of World War II and on into the 50s. I used to test a bunch of stuff up that way or something.
Yeah, Warminster test base was up there also.
Because that's where, talking about like people we've interviewed, when we spoke with Wolfgang Scheiser, the ME-262 pilot, they used their 262 when going back to when they built those things down. I think they started out down in Texas or somewhere, and that was the deal. Is they used a 262 that the Navy had ownership of, and they allowed them to basically do themselves a Chinese blueprint with it.
So that when I was up there, the airplane was there. This is 2000 to 2005. My tour duty was, And I'll never forget it. It was there for the longest time. It's such a unique airplane that you can't miss it. So I asked these guys 2 weeks ago, I'm like, hey, where's the plane at? Well, Pensacola came and they picked it up. It's back in Pensacola again.
Are they cleaning it up and restoring it?
They didn't say. They didn't say. I would assume so. But so what else have we done? 100 episodes.
Well, I got a question for both of you.
Uh-oh. He's interviewing us.
I am. It's about time somebody interviews you guys.
Yeah.
So, of the 100 episodes, which one was your favorite?
Oh, my favorite? Jeez. Well, I know which one's the most popular, and I'm still trying to figure that one out. Is a good friend of mine, Joe Tierney. That episode about talking about building his what airplane was that? RV-44 or it was a 2-seater.
I don't know if I sat in on that one.
Yeah, he did a good job on that. But what my favorite one is, I don't know, Andy. What do you got?
That's a tough call. I mean, besides aviation, well, because we've talked to quite a few World War II vets as well. I think one of them that stands out to me is Al P-51 or the Recon P-51 pilot during World War II.
Yeah, that was a good episode.
He had a great story to tell. His story would almost make a great movie, to be honest with you.
Right.
Again, I can't. That was during World War 2017. 17.
Yeah.
So whatever episodes those are. Al Gottlieb, I believe his name was.
Al Cherub.
Oh, man.
I don't know. We talked to a lot of World War II veterans,
Yeah.
Which sparked a conversation with the Library of Congress, believe it or not. They've got a program that they contacted us with, and they wanted us to do the documentation and then submit it to the Library of Congress.
So he's definitely in the top of the list as far as favorites go. If you have to pick favorites, I don't like to have to do that, but because everyone we talk to is unique and interesting.
Wolfgang Chaya, I gotta say, Wolfgang is one of my favorites. When he talks about flying jets, you're talking about a guy that's got so much F-84, F-104.
Yeah, all that Luftwaffe
stuff.
Time, that he flew.
And then he flew for the commercial airlines, and then of course he was Paul Allen's personal pilot.
Yeah.
And now he's flying the 262 for Yagan.
Mm-hmm.
And that was another disappointment this year too, is that they're resurfacing the runway, and we didn't get to see that airplane again.
Yeah, it's too bad.
It doesn't have the Jumo engines in it, does it? It's got
I believe it has the same engines that power the T-38.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean it's a modern jet engine in there.
Right.
None of those German jet engines they didn't last long back then.
So I don't know, Steve. There's a lot of great ones out there. I favorite. They're all my favorite. All right, 100 episodes. I've never done anything this long as a hobby. My hobbies usually drop off real quick. So you've been doing your hobby for what, 20 years, 25 years?
Oh, since I was a little kid. I mean, yeah.
We got John Mazza, and we'll take a short break. We'll be right back with John Mazza at the Hangardeck Podcast.
Aviators Hotline has been bringing buyers and sellers together for 39 years. The aviation community has come to rely on them to assist in the buying and selling of single, twin, and turboprop aircraft, as well as parts and services. Published monthly in print and digital format, Aviators Hotline is positioned to be your true marketing solution with multimedia options. Visit aviatorshotline.com or aircraftforsale.com for more information.
I got a good friend of mine I met 3 years ago. He has contributed so much to our program. Mr. John Mazza, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great, man. How are you doing?
I love it when you we get to talk about airplanes, and more importantly, when I get to see you fly that Spitfire, dude.
Did you get the word back on the Spitfire dogfight with 109 Saturday? Oh, God.
How was it?
It was fantastic. I guess most of your listeners don't know what the Flying Proms are. unless they're, a British aircraft aficionado. Basically, at the Military Aviation Museum, we have a little crosswind runway, but the only thing you can land on it is a Super Stol Cub because of the length of it. But anyway, an orchestra will set up on that crosswind runway, and then people come in. They bring their lawn chairs, their wagons with their food, and they sell wine and beer there, and they sit out on the lawn, the runway, and the orchestra is up on a big stage with a big canopy over it, and the orchestra is playing songs that were the themes or part of the movie of aviation-related movies. For example, the Battle of Britain, the Blue Max. Last weekend was the Battle of Dunkirk, Darling Lil. And so while the people are listening to the music, Jerry actually hires the narrator from Duxford, England, which is the only other place you will see a Flying Proms. They started it, I guess, 20 years ago, and that's it. The only two places in the world. And so he talks about what the movie's all about, and so the people understand what's going to go on. And when the music starts, we're up flying whatever planes were in those movies.
Oh my God!
We're overhead of the crowd flying. So, for example, last week it was the theme from the recent movie Dunkirk, and we had our ME-109 up flying, and I was in the Spitfire, and I initially came in solo and made a banana pass by the crowd, and we stay right as close as we can to the crowd. And then I'm looking, and I watch the 109 take off, and as he takes off, I jump him on his tail, and we proceed to have a dogfight right there in front of the crowd. And some of the video that I've seen is just, oh my God, I smile to no end. One guy that works at the museum videoed it, Dave Gayton, and all you could hear him say is, "Get on his tail, Pappy! Get on! Shoot him! Shoot him! Shoot him!" It was almost like you were at a NASCAR race, rooting for Earnhardt or somebody.
Oh my God!
And so then when we land, as each group lands, this starts at 7:00 in the evening, the flying, and it goes till dusk comes along. So as you finish your act, you land, and you literally taxi up to the fence beside the stage where the crowd is. And then when that part of the show is over, they have intermission. They open up the fence, and all the crowd comes out to see the pilots and the planes and get photos with them. After that, they go back. They play for another hour or so. And, of course, they get all the pilots up on the stage, but we always tell them, you got to get us back up right away because you wait too long and no telling what will happen if we try to get up on the stage.
That's
you
right.
Go figure it out from there. And so then at the end of the show, they have the most unbelievable fireworks show you will ever see anywhere in this world. It goes on and on and on. And last year, Johnny, my son, was his first year there flying. And I told him, I said, "Son, you're not going to believe this fireworks show." Well, at one point he said, "Dad, when is it over?" I said, "You're only about halfway through it now." So it was the biggest, most successful Flying Proms we've ever had.
Wow. I got really jealous over Andy saying he was going down there. I'm like, you got to go down and say hi to John, man. Make sure you say hi to John.
Yeah. So it was a great evening. God, we had a little bit of everything flying. The Corsair flew to the Star Spangled Banner. The T-6s flew to the Air Force song. It was then we had like the Flyboys, all the World War I stuff flying, and it was a great evening. If any of your listeners are paying attention, and I know they are, they got to put that on their calendar for next year. It's better. Let's put it this way: we all at the museum, the pilots, we fly a lot of air shows, and this air show, each of us, if we're only flying one plane, you're probably only flying 10 minutes,
right? Because
the length of the song. But even with just that little bit of flying, that is absolutely our favorite air show.
Yeah.
Bar none.
How many people were there out in the crowd this year?
I don't know. I'll just put it this way. Here's my professional answer.
Thousands.
A whole lot.
Thousands of people.
Yes, it was.
The Military Aviation Museum is just awesome. Go check it out. I was looking at the prom pictures. I saw you guys on stage on Facebook, man.
As a motley crew, wasn't it?
Yeah, I'm telling you, man, I was really jealous. And then I said, 100th episode, I got to have John on, come on the show and joke around with us. But, man, 100, I'm on my way, John.
You got to be there next year. You can't miss that.
No.
And I'm going to tell you, somebody came up to me on Friday. We had our practice on Friday. And, everybody, all the staff, the pilots, the maintenance guys were all watching the dogfight. And when we landed, I can't remember who came up to me and says, "Man, what was that like?" I says, "You mean flying a Spitfire with an ME-109 in your front windshield, and y'all are in a Loughbury circle going around and pulling and everything else?" I said, "My adrenaline is still pumping. My heart must be doing 200 beats per minute."
Yeah.
I've done a lot in aviation, but that was one of the most spectacular things I think I've ever done, to see that plane in front of me.
Yeah.
Now, here's the downside. I've beaten the German plane 2 years in a row. I don't think the chief pilot, Mike, is going to let me keep doing that.
I love it.
I got a feeling the Focke-Wulf 190 or the 109 is going to shoot me down next year.
That might be a true statement there. I can't wait to see that.
Yeah.
What other big ticket items you got for the rest of the year for flying?
Well, we've got Culpeper. That's the greatest little air show in the country, and you've been there many times.
Yep.
This year, we're supposed to be carrying the Spitfire and the Hurricane up there, and we're supposed to. Art always has his Harrier jet there, and what we've discussed, it's not inked down yet or agreed upon, is the Harrier supposed to be flying, and the Spitfire and the Hurricane are supposed to be on its wings. So you got 3 British planes, 3 Rolls-Royce engines coming through the sky together, old school and new school.
That's great. That's awesome.
Yeah. And I don't think that's ever been done in this country. Probably in England, yes, but over here, I don't think so.
Well, we're going to watch you there. We're going to bring our cameras and get this on video and talk to you guys after the flight, hopefully up in Culpeper. It's a much shorter trip for me to drive outside of the lovely scenic road to Pungo, Virginia.
Pungo, Virginia. Yes. And then we've got biplanes in Brew. Now, I know that's not supposed to mix, but that's in October. That's our World War I show. And they've turned it also into like a beer fest, Oktoberfest, at the same time. And when we did that, the crowd tripled. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Offer beer and they will come.
Yeah, my producer's in the house. Producer Steve's here. He's just smiling from ear to ear, looking at me going, "Oh, brews and airplanes. I'm down with that, dude."
Yeah, because the World War I show was never a big show. It was a 2-day event, and we had just about every plane you could think of. Plus now, we have a Sopwith triplane, which I don't know where there's another one of those.
There's not very many of them. I saw the picture. Did you fly? Did that airplane fly last weekend?
Oh, yes.
So
absolutely.
The Sopwith triplane flew at Proms. That's
yes.
awesome.
Along with the Fokker triplane.
Who was the lucky person flying those airplanes?
Gooch was flying that.
Nice.
Yeah. He did a great job too. And that plane just started flying last week. They got it back together, and Mike, our chief pilot, Spalding, he went and did the test flight on it, and then Gooch hopped in on Friday and did a beautiful job. Absolutely, just greased it in, and it really was.
Nice.
So, and I can't think of all the shows we got to do. We got a lot of small shows to do, where they'll bring one plane, from the museum. Got Monroe to do. I don't know whether they've booked anything with us, but Monroe, North Carolina, usually books 1 or 2 planes. One year they booked 4 of us to come down. That was pretty neat. That was one of my first shows years ago. I was flying the P-40, flying number 4 slot, flying off the wing of the Spitfire, and the Sky Raider was in the lead, and number 2 on the left side of the Sky Raider was the Hurricane. And I'm sitting there in a P-40, and I kept pinching my arm going, "Yeah, this is real. You're flying up the wing, firing a P-40. Yes, it's real." Yeah, so that was a good show. That was a lot of fun.
Love it.
Monroe's a great air show, too, down in North Carolina. It's on Veterans Weekend in November, last show of the year for just about everybody. and it is a very patriotic show.
So John, how many times have you personally been up to Oshkosh?
Oh God, a lot.
A lot, right?
A lot. Yeah, a lot.
It's still on our bucket list. I can't seem to get my butt up to Oshkosh and see the awesome sights, man.
Yeah, it is. It is something. It truly is. It's an event that you have to go to at least once, and of course you'll go more. And if you ride motorcycles, it's like going to Sturgis. It's the mecca of all bike weeks and air shows, you know. So yeah, you'd have a good time. You really would have a good time there. Great air show every day, events every night, night air shows.
It's crazy. It's unbelievable. Plus they have the lake there, and they're flying seaplanes off the lake too, aren't they?
Oh yeah. Kermit Weeks had he flew. I can't remember what that plane was. This huge flying boat. I believe it was from California. I'm not sure.
Right.
Not sure.
I think it was a Martin Marlin. I think it was.
That was it. That's exactly what it.
Hey, see, I do know my airplanes, John.
You do.
So
yeah, it went in the water like Navy and your Navy, and it's a full circle there. Full circle there.
Busting my chops. Well, I'm definitely going to get down and see you guys again. You know, I'm so happy. Short notice, John, to talk with us. So, you know, I know you're driving, buddy. Thanks.
Yeah, and I appreciate you inviting me on tonight. I really, really do. And you guys are doing great. You're doing so much for aviation. It's unbelievable. It's getting people in touch with it that maybe can't make many air shows. They can hear what's going on. And you guys are fantastic. And I can only see y'all growing bigger and bigger and bigger.
Thank you so much. John Mazza from the Military Aviation Museum, you know, joining us tonight. John, once again, thanks a lot, bud.
Okay, thank you, guys.
All right.
Aviators Hotline has been bringing buyers and sellers together for 39 years. The aviation community has come to rely on them to assist in the buying and selling of single, twin, and turboprop aircraft, as well as parts and services. Published monthly in print and digital format, Aviators Hotline is positioned to be your true marketing solution with multimedia options. Visit aviatorshotline.com or aircraftforsale.com for more information.
Hey, so that's it. 100 in the bag. Thanks, Andy. Thanks, producer Steve.
Hey, thank you.
You want to give
Thanks
a
for
shout
dragging
out
me
to
in. Like I said, drag me into this thing. It's fun. I enjoy going on the road and doing this and everything.
a shout out to our fans. You keep us going. You want to tell our listeners how they can subscribe to the Hangardeck?
What, are you queuing me up for everything?
Absolutely.
Yeah, there's a subscribe button on there. So we're sending out, we're building our email distribution list. So go ahead and subscribe. Hit that button, and we'll add you to the list. Producer Steve will be sending you an email asking for money. Okay? It's so. Well, I didn't mention, what I did not mention, you mentioned advertise with us. We have 3 spots open during the podcast that we're going to carve into the show for advertising. So if you want your message out to get out on the Hangardeck Podcast, go ahead and hit that button, send us an email, and we'll start working with you on your 30, 60, or 90-second advertisement clip. There you have it. You know, right now we've got Aviator Hotline Magazine has joined us. We've got their audio up. They've been a great partner. They put some of our swag into their magazine every month. So Andy, till 101, 102, 103, or whenever Steve sends out the work schedule. Did you renegotiate your salary with him?
No, we're going to talk about that.
He's got all those numbers. So
12-pack.
Yeah.
Not Coors Light either.
All right. Well, thanks, guys. Episode 100. We made it. We'll talk to you soon.